Okay, this is the review for the Bauer Supreme 170 Senior Ice Hockey Skate. These are the 2010-2011 models, so these are a 1 year later review. Quick rundown of the technical specs about the upper console. The quarter package is a 3D Anaformable technical nylon upper, which let me put some light on it, you can kind of see it's one of those materials that has, I wouldn't really call it, it's not smooth, it's not like the Total, but it's almost like a snake skin. Very rough, but pretty good at resisting a lot of abrasions and a lot of rubbing. If you run your toes, fingers over it, you can hear it rub, but a lot of it holds up pretty well. It's pretty durable. The lining material is the Hydrophobic grip liner, which is this stuff right here. It's pretty good right here. It's almost like a soft mesh. Holds up pretty well to your feet. Pretty water and sweat resistance. Does a pretty good job of wicking most of it away. I like it. It's pretty soft and pretty comfortable. Where heel support is this exterior 3D injected heel cup, which is what helps attribute the anatomical shape. As you can see, it really gives that natural shape of what your ankle and foot would mimic, sans a boot around it. Tongue construction is the classic white anatomical two-piece felt with a high-density metatarsal guard. The metatarsal guard is this material right here, that piece running down the middle. What that does is it helps prevent a lot of lace bites, so you can really crank down and it won't be cutting off circulation to your foot. I like this material too because you can put this in front of or behind your shin guards. Really doesn't matter too much to me, but the metatarsal guard, yeah, that's pretty awesome. If most boots out there, I think, are starting to make this a standard feature, but for me, this was just blew my mind. It allows us so much more comfort to be had. The footbed, it comes with what they're calling the Superfit with stabilizer grip. It's that right here. It's kind of somewhat cupped down the bottom, so you can hold, I guess theoretically, hold your foot in. It's gripped right here, so I guess your foot can rub against it. Really not much support. I mean, it's pretty flexible. Shaped anatomical. I mean, it really just allows you to feel the foot of the bed, but you're not really going to get a whole lot of comfort and support from it. The whole boot is thermoformable, which basically means you could bake these, and when you bake it, put your foot in, lace it up, it will basically mold exactly to the contours of your foot. I love it. You could do it in the pro shop, or you could even do it in your oven. I did in the pro shop. It's like $20. Really helps ease break-in time. You don't need to bake it. I guess the website says it'll do it eventually on its own after a couple of hours. But like I said, if you could bake it, it really helps break in the skate a lot faster. I baked mine, and I want to say probably it was good to go within in about a week. Blade holder is the standard TUUK system. This is the Lightspeed 2 with their super stainless steel runner. If you can't tell, I'm actually in need to do a replacement on the blade, but this is the original blade that it came with. Held up pretty well. I like the TUUK Lightspeed 2. Is a little bit lighter, a little more flexible. Actually complements the boot pretty well because it helps distribute that force from your ankle flexion and your foot responsiveness down to the blade, so a lot of your movements aren't necessarily wasted. I haven't had any problems with it. I like it. It's pretty good, and there's a reason it's pretty much the standard on almost all the Bauer skates now. Weight, one skate, about 890 grams or 3.39 ounces. A little bit on the heavy side as compared to most of the other models out there for like the Vapors or any Graphs out there. But these are more for your power skaters. If you're focusing on form and technique, this boot will help get it done. It's pretty stiff. I'm going to get away from just the stupid tech specs, which you can read on your own, and just go on my speech now. This is the boot that you get if you're a mid-level skater. It doesn't matter what age group you are or what demographic. If you're in that mid-range, there, you know you're above the basics, but you're not quite a pro, I would recommend this boot. Holds up pretty well. It's stiff. You could take blows from other skates, from the puck, from sticks, whatever. It holds up. You're not really going to be feeling it too much. Like the runner, it helps distribute a lot of the size and speed that you're trying to distribute from your just foot movements. And overall, it's just, like I said, I like it. Wear and tear, like I said, these are a year old. The only wear that I really have is this right here on the quarter panel, and that was actually caused by me when I went down one time. My other skate blade cut it. But that's it, and I've taken some other, puck shots, but that's about the only damage that's come through. Only major complaint I have here is something that they do on this particular skate and below. On everything above, they actually start to fix it, so this may just be a cost thing. On the quarter panel right here, they leave it exposed. On the 80s, 100, and totals, they actually have a piece of leather that extends down right here and covers it. What happens is when you're skating, when you start getting better or more aggressive with your turns and drop past the 45-degree angle, your boot will actually rub on the ice. So if you take tight turns where you're aggressive, your boot will rub on the ice and it eventually wears down the boot. As you can kind of see there, let me put some light on it. It's frayed at the outer material. This one is not as noticeable as on my left skate, where it's actually worn down to the boot. The big problem that I have is actually this fiber composite bottom, which is supposed to be pretty solid, but if you can see with the light there, it's actually worn down the material itself. So it's only a matter of time, and right there, it's actually worn to the boot core. It's only a matter of time before that actually just needs to get replaced entirely, which isn't bad for a mid-level skate. But if you're one of those guys that you've been a mid-level skater for a while and you're pretty much going to be advancing, I would go ahead and say shell the extra bucks and get the 80s, 100s, or the totals themselves. And do yourself a favor and get that. If you're everyone else below it, this is an awesome skate. Save the money, go ahead and get a Footbed, and do what I also did. Get rid of the liner. The Footbed is just pure crap. It allows you to feel, but spend $40. Go ahead, get yourself some Outsole Footbeds. Just like the boot, these are heat moldable. Put them in. You can feel the skate just as well, and you get actual arch support, comfort, and better heel grip. I mean, you can see it just looks a little more sturdy. I love these. I have these in my running shoes. I have these in pretty much anything that I put my feet into. I think they're the best ones out there. $40 REI. If you hate them, you can always take it back. But yeah, put these in, and I can feel the skate just as well as I did with their standard issue ones. So yeah, that's really about all I have to say for it. All in all, like I said, this is a year later. I like the boot. It was a boot I really got a lot better in, but I am definitely ready for an upgrade. I personally need a boot that's a little more stiff, a little more responsive, and I wouldn't mind being a little bit lighter. So I'm probably actually going to be going to pick up the total ones here shortly. But these, for everyone else, I mean, I saw the new lines come out. I think they have these, the 1.7.0s is what they're calling them. They didn't really change a whole lot. I think they changed the quarter package to what was previously on the 80s, to that real feel stuff, but it's still really is in essence the same thing. They changed the coloring, and they actually made it look like they put copper rivets in it up here, but they didn't. All they did was painted them gold. So I don't know what's up with that. Maybe it's just supposed to impress people, but yeah, I haven't had any problems with these getting worn either. They've held up pretty well. Background for me, I've, like I said, skated the crap out of these. I skated for the past year anywhere between 4 to 6 times a week, on average about 4 hours a day that I was on the ice breaking these things in. I went out of my way most of the time near the end trying to break them, and they've held up pretty darn well. So I would recommend them to most everyone. Unless you're that advanced or getting there, go ahead and go to the next level. But for everyone else, can't beat them. I think Hockey Monkey has them on sale now, or not even on sale, since their last season's models for like $200. I paid $300. Definitely a good little buy, in my opinion, if you're trying to get a good boot. So yeah, that's the Bauer Supreme 170 hockey skates. Yep.